So, hello, Sharon. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm so glad you agreed to come on our podcast today and share your entrepreneur experience with our listeners. We're very grateful that you are a part of our initiative, which is to just let other women of color know what it feels like to go through building a business and staying in business.
Yes.
So I want to start off by allowing you to introduce yourself, introduce your business, what your business does, and so go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank
You're
you for
welcome.
having me. My name is Sharon Booker, and what I do for clients is I help them to grow their business through automation, through understanding their customer journey, and through mindset. So, over the years, I found that the combination of systems and mindset is what really propels businesses to grow to the levels that they want to grow. So that's what I focus on when I'm working with clients.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And how long have you been in business?
I've been in business for about 10 years now.
Okay, wonderful. And what's your business name?
Well, when I started my business, I probably like most entrepreneurs, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to start my own business, but I wasn't sure what direction I was going. So I used my name. The name of my business is SD Booker International.
Okay.
And the international is because one thing that I did know was that I wanted to have a global message. I wanted to reach women globally to help them grow their business. So that's
Okay,
that's how I came up with the name.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So, who are your primary customers? Who would you say are your primary customers?
My primary customers are women who have knowledge and skills, maybe from a professional job or from something that they've always been drawn to all of their life. And they're taking that knowledge and skill and turning it into an online business or their own business and kind of transitioning out of working for someone else and working for themselves and building the wealth and the financial means that they want to build for their life.
Oh, that's wonderful. So
Yeah.
you're working with the women entrepreneurs who are already passionate about something that they're doing for someone else, and but they have the desire to do it for themselves and their family, and you help them figure out what that process looks like.
Yes,
Very helpful.
exactly. Or maybe they're in a job that they really don't like, and there's something that has always been on their heart to do, and they just need to step out and take that risk and take that step to really bring their dream to reality. So I
Okay,
help those women as well.
got you. So it can be something totally different from what they're doing in the workplace,
Hmm.
but just a passion that they have, and they wanted to turn it into a business.
Hmm.
Very great.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Okay. So when you started your business 10 years ago, what was your greatest challenge?
My greatest challenge was just not knowing anything about business. I have a tech background and a business background. So I came from corporate America. I came from working a job and I knew nothing about being an owner of a business or how to start a business or what the taxes and all the
Right.
things that come into play when you have your own business. I think that was my biggest challenge. And the first year of my business was really a struggle as I tried to figure that out. Um, I did what I think a lot of people do is I searched the internet and I found articles to read, I found videos to watch, books to read. Um, but it really wasn't until I got to the end of that year and I had only made $7,000 in my business, that I really knew that what I was doing wasn't working.
Got it. Got
What
it.
the information that I was finding in my search, it either wasn't the right information or I didn't know how to implement it. So that's when I got a coach, and I've had coaches in my business ever since, coaches and mentors, and they've really helped me to kind of fill in the gaps of things that you don't really know that you don't know.
Right,
They
right.
got me where I am now, and they can help me kind of shorten the time too, to get to where I want to be.
Wonderful. That's really key. I like what you said about not knowing, what you didn't know, because
Hmm.
that's where practically all of us start out. We don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And sometimes that fear of not knowing keeps us from taking the first step to get going. Because
Hmm.
in the beginning, we have to wear all the hats. We got to figure it all out. So,
Right.
what would you say was your what motivated you to take that step? Knowing that you had not been in business before, you had been in corporate America. What
Hmm.
motivated you or inspired you to take that risk? Because it is a risk.
It is a risk, and it does take a lot of courage, especially if you're coming from a job and going into your business full time. Um, what really prompted me to make that step was I was with a company for 16 years, and I had stayed with them through a lot of different changes. I think
Wow.
the company changed actual companies 3 times.
Wow.
They were bought out 3 times, and I stayed, and I felt that I was committed and loyal to the company. I was doing my job, I think, well. Um, and the division that I worked for shut down. So at that point, I had to make a decision. Do I want to take the layoff and kind of do my own thing, or do I want to go back and they didn't have any positions at my current level, so I would have had to take a level lower or start
Wow.
start
Mhm.
over again. So do I want to start over again and work my way up again, or do I want to take a chance on myself and build a life of financial freedom for myself? And I decided to take that step, make that leap, and it's been 10 years, and I think I made the right decision. It's been a wonderful experience. Some ups and
Great.
downs, but I'm
Right.
really glad I made that choice.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's 16 years. You don't hear of that anymore. But I
Yeah.
can totally, and I'm sure our listeners can relate to being committed to a job and an employer, and then
Hmm.
finding out now you have to figure something out for yourselves because they made a switch, you know,
Hmm.
with their own priorities in mind. So,
Right, right.
yes, got you, got you. So, when you started your business in the beginning, how did you fund your enterprise? Did you use any money from family? Did you use your own personal funds? Did you use loans or grants? How did you go about it?
So I didn't get any loans or grants or anything. I started just freelancing.
Okay.
So I didn't put any money into a website or anything like that at the very beginning. I just
Okay.
started freelancing. And I think that that's one of the things that I see a lot of new entrepreneurs do.
Uh-huh.
They put thousands of dollars into a website even before they know who their target audience is and
Mm.
what their target audience is looking for. And if they even like what they've decided to do, they may take a whole different direction at some point.
Mhm.
So my advice is always to start out without really making a definite footprint. You don't have to get a website at the very beginning. Just start out learning what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us have a lot of different skills, a lot of knowledge we can draw from. So decide what direction you want, decide what audience you want to target, and actually work for a few clients before you start putting a lot of money into your business. So
Okay.
I didn't start taking out loans or anything like that until I started gaining a lot of clients. And I was sure the direction I was going to take, and I had the money to pay the loan back. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's the advice that I would give.
Okay. I like that. So you started out freelancing. How did you get your first customers?
I started out on a site called Elance. It was Elance at the time, many years ago.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And today it's called Upwork.
Yes.
Yes, so you can put all kinds of skills out there. Every now and then I go in and I look for talent to grow my team, and I see coaches, people helping people with strategy.
Uh-huh.
Um, I even hired an HR person to kind of help me think through the team members that I need
Uh-huh.
and get all that structure in place. So it's not just
Wonderful.
for graphic designers or
Right.
copywriters. If you have a talent or a skill or passion about something, you can start there just to see what people are looking for. It's
Mm-hmm.
another way to go through the projects and just see what people are asking for. What do people need that you
Mm.
can provide the answer for?
Mm.
I think that's a great way to start. It worked for
It
me,
is.
and it helped me to find the direction that I wanted to go just by working on different projects and seeing what I really enjoyed doing.
Wonderful. That's a great tip for our listeners,
Mhm.
to search those online portals where you can see what people who are offering different skills in a freelance mode. You can see what they're
Mhm.
being paid. You can see
Mhm.
how they're describing their service, and you can
Mhm.
go from there. That's a great idea. Instead of jumping right into the whole website and I'm on my own,
Mhm.
it's you're like investing in the learning process. Oh,
Right,
I
right.
love that. Thank you for sharing
Doing the
that.
research. Yeah.
Who would you say have been your biggest business mentors? Have you had any personal mentors?
I have. I've worked with a lot of coaches over the year. My years. My first coach and mentor was Darnell Jervey, and she was amazing. She helped me take my business from 7,000 to 36,000 that next
Okay.
year.
Ah.
So at the time, she had a multi-million dollar business, and I was able to watch her online. I was able to check out the things that she did for her business and
Mm-hmm.
see what of those things I could apply to my business, in addition to the training that she was able to provide. So
Okay.
um, when when I look for a mentor, I look for someone who is actually doing what they teach so
Right.
that I can
Okay.
see it in action. I
Ah.
watch and see, well, she did this and not this. I wonder why. Let me ask her.
Uh-huh.
That type of thing. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, she was my very first mentor, and I continue to follow her. She's not my mentor today, but I do continue to follow her, and it's always exciting to see where she's taking her business and how she's helping her clients to move forward.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so did you have any models in your family for entrepreneurship? Was it something you had seen in your family or in your community, or are you a first?
Well, my dad, when he retired, he started a business, and I was still working at the time. So I was able to see him in his business. Um, and that really motivated me. And my parents have really been a big support for me as I've stepped out of the corporate world to do my own thing. I think a lot of times when you do that, there are people who see and can't understand it. You mean you went through school, you got this degree, and now you're walking away from it? What are you
Right,
doing?
right.
So yeah, my parents have been such an encouragement to me over the years, and they continue
Ah,
to tell me that I can do it. And anytime I have a speech or something that I'm nervous about, they say, "Oh, you can do it. I remember when you were this and that," and they have all these stories. But it's always good to have someone in your family or someone, a friend or someone who can be that person to cheer you on, and can show you the example that you can start your own business. And my dad was definitely that example for me.
wonderful. That is beautiful that they were supportive of you because, like you
Yeah.
said, there are many people, especially in the generation of your parents, that would say, stick to something that's more, stable. And
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
there really isn't much that's stable these days, like
No,
not
not at
like it
all.
used to be. So that's beautiful to hear. And starting your business in as your business grew over time to be lasting 10 years later, because most small businesses, it's really great if they make that 5-year mark. So it's
Mhm.
phenomenal that you're at 10 years.
Yeah.
What have been some of your greatest challenges over the years? If you had to think about your top 2 to 3 challenges, what would you say they have been for you?
Uh, I think my one of my biggest challenges is um, being visible and really stepping out and letting people know what you do. I started my business on the freelancer site, so I really didn't have to be on social media or anything at the time. I was just
Hmm.
on that site. And then once I started working with coaches, I started to get clients from the people who were in the mastermind with me.
Got you.
And then I started to get referrals.
Hmm.
So I've built my business mostly behind the scenes,
Okay.
um, with people that I know, people that I've purchased from became clients, people that I've been in masterminds with became clients. Um, so I think the biggest challenge for me over the years has been doing things like this, the interviews and the
Okay.
speeches, and
Uh-huh.
being active and visible for to be able to grow my business beyond the referrals and the people that I know.
Okay.
So yeah, that I think that would be the number one challenge. The second challenge I think was learning how to manage my money. When you work for a company and you have a job, you get a paycheck every
Right.
2 weeks.
Hmm.
So I had to figure out how to manage the funds as they came in. So I'd have money for taxes, and I'd have money
Uh-huh.
for expenses, and
Hmm.
pay myself. Um,
Right.
all of those things that you don't think about that the companies do for you when you're
Hmm.
working for them and just getting a paycheck. I
Right.
think that was one of the biggest, the second biggest challenge that I had to figure out over the years.
Okay. And did you figure that out through like a budget process or using a certain system, or how did you figure that out? Because I think that's a big area that most entrepreneurs face, because you dream about being profitable, but you
Hmm.
haven't really planned for when the money comes in, how you're going to
Right.
distribute it, hold on to it for when
Mhm.
things go up and down. So what were the system or the process you kind of used to manage that?
Yeah, so there's a book, and I can't think of the name of the author. It's called Profit First.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really good book, and that's what I use to um, decide how I divvy up the money as it comes in. I set different percentages for everything, for payroll, expenses, taxes, everything has a percentage.
Uh-huh.
And I, instead of having just one business bank account, I have several. So I
Okay.
have the checking account and then I have several savings accounts. Each one is for a different bucket. So I
Okay.
have one for taxes, one for expenses, one for payroll. And so when the money comes in, I just divvy it up based on the percentages that I set in place. It's not exactly what he says to do in the book. I kind of modified it to how I want to run my business,
Yes.
but he provided the structure and the
Gotcha.
understanding for me to take what he taught and kind of make it my own. So that's,
Wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful. Sounds great. I love
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
profit first, that's a resource
Mhm.
for our listeners.
Right.
Wonderful. So as you've gone through your entrepreneur journey, what have you found, or have you found yourself struggling with your personal time versus your business time? Have you ever had the experience where it all begins to flow into each other and you don't know where one begins and the other ends? And if
Mhm.
so, how did you manage that? How do you manage that?
Yeah, it's easy for everything to blend together, especially if you work from home.
Yes.
Uh, so I set up a separate business space. I have one room just for my business.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, you really have to learn how to set boundaries
Mhm.
because your clients, depending on your business, your clients will reach out to you at night, on weekends. You really have to set those boundaries up front. For example, in my agreement with clients, I lay out my hours, and the only time there are exceptions to those hours is if we're in a live launch. So they
Okay.
know that up front when we first start working together. And you have to set the expectation to let them know how long they should have to wait to hear from you.
Okay.
I think that's part of the problem, communication with
Mm-hmm.
your clients. You have to be
Yes.
very clear that everybody understands, and you're committed to stick to whatever guidelines and boundaries that you put in place. That's how I deal with a separate space where I can just shut my computer, leave the room and shut the door at the end of my
Uh-huh.
workday, and
Mm-hmm.
then just being in communication with my clients to let them know what my boundaries are and being able to stick to it. I think sometimes, as entrepreneurs and as women, we want our clients to succeed and we want to help our clients. So
Right.
sometimes we may set boundaries, but we may not stick to them because we really
Right.
have a heart to see our clients succeed. So not only just setting the boundaries, but really sticking to it because you can't really show up fully for your clients and help them if you're burnt out and tired and not taking care of yourself. So it is very important to set those boundaries.
That's right. I agree with that. Great information. And
Yeah.
to your point, like one of my models is fill your cup. Fill your cup first so you have
Mm-hmm.
something to give to others as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to just, working with the empty cup because then whatever you give is going to be of the lowest quality that you
Yeah,
have.
that's
So,
true.
so what do you do to fill your cup?
I start my day off with exercise. I try to get in exercise 4 times a week.
Hmm.
I start with journaling. I meditate.
Wonderful.
I take time to get manicures and pedicures. Um, and spend time with my dog. I like to go in the backyard and throw the ball for my dog. So yeah,
Okay.
those are a few of the things that I love doing. Just taking time to turn the business switch off
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
really get quiet in the moment and just enjoy life and enjoy living and enjoy sitting in the chair at the nail salon, getting the massage, just
Yes.
little things,
Yes.
yeah, make a big difference.
Right. I love that because the things that you listed are like everyday activities. And I'm a firm believer that self-care is a very important part of being a successful businesswoman, and also doing self-care on a daily basis is very important, that we don't just save it for a Sunday or when we're on
Mhm,
vacation. So I love that you're able to share that you meditate, you journal,
mhm,
and you exercise. And
mhm.
those are everyday activities.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, have you ever felt like you wanted to just close your doors, shut it down, and just give up?
Yes.
Tell us how that went. Tell us about that.
Uh, yeah, well, being in business by yourself, having your own business and it just being you when you
Yes.
first got out, it can be very stressful, especially if you're doing it full time and you have bills to pay and all the stress that comes with it.
Right.
Um, I I think what really happened for me is I got to the point in that first year where all I could really do was cry. And I remember one day I was, at the time, I was separated from my husband. I had moved back in with my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt like everything was piling on. My business wasn't going well. And this was in the first year, and I
Right.
thought, what am I doing? What happened to my life? What am I doing? So it was amazing when I let go and I just allowed myself to feel what I was feeling instead of, I think up until that point I was just working, trying to make it work, trying to stay busy, trying to do everything I could. But when I took a step back and just felt the emotion of, I don't know what I'm doing, I need help. And I remember just crying, one of those ugly, ugly cries, crying and praying and asking for help. And what do I do next? When I really let go, and I think sometimes we want to stay strong. We don't want people to know that we're struggling
Right.
sometimes,
Right.
and sometimes we hold that all in. But
Right.
after I let it go, the answers started coming.
Mm.
I met the coach that I mentioned before, and I worked
Uh-huh.
with her, and it turned that next year around.
Uh-huh.
So and I, looking back over the years, at times when I've gotten frustrated and times that I've been stuck and wondering, well, did I make the right decision? Should I do something else? Because those times come in and out. I think just knowing to take a step back, take a breath, and really um, feel whatever you're feeling. Allow yourself to be human, allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling in that moment, and then um, just ask God, if you believe in God, ask the universe, whatever you believe in, ask for direction, ask for guidance. What should I do next? And then just be calm and open to receive the answer. I think that's what I did, and that's what I've been doing, and it served me very well. I always seem to get not the complete answer, but the next step that will get you to the complete answer.
Okay, I love that. That is very valuable information because a lot of times, like you said, we feel like we have to put on a strong front at the expense of really feeling what's going on.
Mhm.
And I think that's going to help a lot of our listeners realize they're not alone when they feel like they want to
Yeah,
give up and
yeah.
they want to cry about it. It's okay to do that. In fact, it's healthier to do that.
Mhm.
And going through that is how you get to the next step of how do I move forward.
Right.
So I love that you're able to share that. That's really good because I know that's an issue with us. Like for some reason, we feel like the journey is supposed to be smooth or else we're failing as
Mhm.
opposed to we're learning and growing. So I
Right.
love that.
Right.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So, looking at your business, what would you say you love most about being an entrepreneur?
What I love most is seeing my clients succeed. I work with some creative clients, and I'm a numbers person. When we launch a new course or a new program, um, I'm always logging in to look at the numbers. How many have we sold? How many have opted in? And it always surprises me when I work with really creative entrepreneurs. I can know what our goals are, and I can reach out to them and say, "Hey, congratulations, you met your enrollment goal." And I had one client come back to me and say, "I did." It's like, so they're excited that they met their goal, but they're not really. They're more focused on uh, the service that they provide and being the creative and creating new things. So I'm always happy to be able to help those clients take their creativity and their vision and really start to make money and sell their programs and have a greater impact on their community and on the world. That's what I really love about my business.
That's wonderful. I'm going to pause for just a minute
Okay.
and come right back. Okay, yes. I've also had experience working with those creatives, and they, exactly like you said, they're really into the creativity of it. And the
Hmm.
numbers are just still like, oh, they get surprised by by the numbers because my background is in accounting, so I'm also a numbers person. So
Okay.
okay, so um, what is something that you wish you had known when you first started your business that you kind of had to learn the hard way, but if you had had more information, you would have, it wouldn't have been so hard.
I would say that thing would be that mindset is so important to growing your business. Um, Especially if you're coming from a job, it's a totally different mindset when you have your own business and you're the CEO of your own business, as opposed to working a job for someone else. And what I've really learned over the years is that um, I can't outperform what I think about myself. I can't outperform what I think about money. So I really had to really take some time and do some deep internal work to learn why I was always behind the scenes and not really stepping out to do more, um, and be more visible. Why I would get to a certain point in the revenue for my business, and then I would start going back down the other way. So I had a lot of thoughts and beliefs around myself, around my abilities, around money. And I really had to take the time to understand that and kind of get rid of some of those limiting beliefs that were holding me back. And I started that journey, I think I was in my business for about 5 years before I really started doing the internal work. And I really wish I had started that at the very beginning because it plays
Wow.
such an important role in the success of your business.
Definitely, I agree. I love that. I love that you were able to see as you were going through your growth in 5 years, you were able to see that these were areas that you
Mhm.
needed to address and confront in order to go
Mhm.
further.
Right.
That was great insight. I think that may be one of the reasons that a lot of businesses fail and they don't continue beyond that 5 year mark, um,
Mhm.
is because we have our own ceiling, but we don't realize it.
Right.
You know, we
Right.
have
We
we
don't
have our
realize
own
it.
ceiling for how much we can earn and
Mhm.
for how much we believe in ourselves. And
Mhm.
like you said, we can't outperform those ceilings.
No, we can't.
So, wow. So, how would you say you approached moving beyond those? Did you read books? Did you watch videos? What exactly did you do?
Well, I started just searching online for things like energy. I studied energy for a little while, and I studied with Bob Proctor.
Ah,
I
yes.
went through his 1 year coaching program, and
Okay.
that's what really helped me to make the shift and start growing my business again. So um, I would say just understanding what role energy plays in your life and your business because
Mm-hmm.
everything is energy.
Right.
The energy that you bring to a sales call will have an impact on your sales. The energy you bring to your clients will have an impact on whether they stay with you for the long term or you lose
Right.
all your clients. So energy really plays a big role. And then in addition to that, um, goal achievement, not really goal setting, but goal understanding how to achieve goals. And if you're setting goals and you're not achieving them, why is that? What do you need to change in your habits and your beliefs? What do you need to shift to make sure you're hitting those new milestones and those new goals that you set for your business?
Oh, I love that goal achievement, not
Mhm.
setting goals, because we can all be really good at setting goals,
Right,
but
right. And most
looking
of
into,
us do.
yeah, but looking
On New
into
Year's, everybody sets goals.
exactly.
Yeah,
But why didn't we achieve those goals? I love that. Great
right.
information. Great information. Okay, as we wrap up here, was there anything else on your mind or on your heart that you would like to share with our listeners? Anything that we perhaps didn't cover that's on your mind?
No, I would just like to um, encourage your listeners. If there's something that they really want to do, if they have a dream of a business that they want to create, or if they're in a business now, but maybe it's not going well, um, I would just like to encourage them to keep going. A lot of times we're this close to our breakthrough and we give up. So um, uh, and I think the encouragement that I received from my family really helped me to understand that over the years. Um, you can do it. You're more than capable. If there's really something that you have on your heart to do, then just the fact that you've thought of it and you've dreamed it and it's something that you want to move forward, you know that you have the capability to make it happen, to get to that goal that you've set for yourself. Yeah, just believe in yourself, and continue to work toward your dreams. You can do it. I believe in you. And reach out to me on social media if you want to chat. I'd love to cheer you on and learn more about what you're doing. Yeah, I think that's
Wonderful.
what I would like to say.
Yeah, I can see why you're such a great service to your clientele, because you definitely have that positive energy, to keep people going and keep dreams alive. So
Yeah.
how can we contact you on social media? Let's give us your business website and how you like to be contacted.
Oh, okay. You can reach out on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at Sharon Booker Consulting.
Okay. Sharon
Mhm.
Booker
Sharon
Consulting.
Booker Consulting on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube.
Okay, and that's SharonBooker Consulting.
Consulting. Mhm.
Okay, great. Okay, and to close out, we're just going to do something that we do that's a little fun. Ask you a
Okay.
couple of questions to just get us more in touch with your personality.
Okay.
So I got about 5 questions here for you. The first one is very important. What is your favorite food or cuisine?
Oh, I love eggplant parmesan.
Oh, come on now. I love eggplant too. Very, very. I knew you were a special person. Okay, number 2. What is your favorite travel spot or dream vacation spot?
I love the beach. So
Ah,
yeah. If I can just go lay out on the beach or put my feet in the water,
uh-huh.
I love being out on the beach.
Wonderful. So the water is it for you, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Ah, nice. Would you read, if you were reading a book, would it be a novel, a self-help book, or a business-related book?
Self-help.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a hobby?
Well, I love gardening. I don't have a garden right now. I just got my back fence replaced.
Uh-huh.
So the next thing is to really start working on my garden in my backyard. So
Okay.
yeah, I
So
love
by
being out
garden, do
there.
you mean vegetables or flowers?
Vegetables.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And last but not least, who or what would your dream customer look like?
My dream customer would be a someone who has knowledge or skill or talent that they want to bring to the world. So they may be working a job right now, and they have this desire or this passion to start their own business and do their own thing. So those are the people that as I look back over the years, the people that I've worked with who I love working with and who work with me over the long term and still working with me today, those are the type of people that I really love helping. I love helping them bring their vision to life and really make money and set up a life of freedom for themselves.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Sounds good. And I know that I said that was the last thing, but I have one more.
Okay.
I think, and I hope you haven't answered this for us already, but what do you do? What do you do to take care of your spiritual self care?
My spiritual self-care. Well, I was raised in church, and now I don't attend a physical church. If I attend a church, it's online. Usually, I watch a program online.
Mm-hmm.
But really, all that I do right now is I pray. Uh, I get quiet and I listen.
Mm.
I think I've kind of gone from being religious to more spiritual.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that my intuition and my guidance is God speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to get quiet, I try to listen, and I try to follow the guidance that I feel that I'm given. Um, so I
Beautiful.
hope that answers your questions, but
Definitely. I love
that's
that.
that's what I
Yes.
do.
I love that. Can definitely relate to everything you said. So wonderful. So, Sharon, I want to thank you again for being on with us. You gave us a lot of gems in this conversation for our listeners, for those entrepreneurs who are, whether they're just getting started, haven't started yet, or they're in the
Mhm.
midst of the years of their business. You have gave us a lot of great information, a lot of things to run with and grow with. And I appreciate you so much for being part of this podcast. I ask my listeners to please reach out to Sharon Booker Consulting. I love her spirit. She has a very positive energy, and I'm sure she can guide you in the right direction. So thanks again, Sharon, and enjoy the rest of your day. And we hope to hear from you again later.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.